We at the Adventure Bike Shop have used our experience from our own halfway around the world and back travels. To put together a range of products that we think are top quality, will last you a trip. Brands we know and trust, products we've used ourselves. Dumb products, and what am I going to say? Welcome to the Adventure Bike Shop. This is now getting good.
The Adventure Bike Shop, proud sponsors of
Adventure Bike TV.
Hello and welcome to Adventure Bike TV. It's the September show and I hope you're enjoying the lovely weather just as I am next to my pool. Now it's time for the bike review, but this time I wasn't asked to get involved. Nathan did it. Not only that, he got to play on two bikes, which I wouldn't have minded doing. Oh well hell, I'll just sit here in my pool, or at least with my feet in the pool. Who wants to go and play around on two bikes anyway?
Hello and welcome to Salisbury Plains, where the red flags are flying, which means they must be testing ammunition or something. We're testing our own ammunition, which are two adventure bikes in the small to medium capacity range. They are the Honda CB500X, which has been upgraded by Rally Raid, and a CCM GP450 Adventure. Both mid-range bikes, about £8,000 all up. Honda's a bit cheaper. The focus today is on the Honda because that's the newest bike. We thought we'd bring along the CCM just to keep it honest. See how we get on. The first bike we've got here is the Honda CB500X by Rally Raid. Rally Raid are a Northamptonshire based company that have done a lot of work in the past on KTM 690s in particular. And what they've done with the CB500X is they've basically spoke the wheels, increased the front one from a 17 to a 19-inch wheel. They've also added 2 inch of ground clearance, 2 inch of suspension travel. There's now a fully adjustable tractive setup at the rear, also a belly pan, obviously a Yoshimura exhaust, handlebar risers, extended side stand, all sorts of manner of little bits to turn it into what they call an adventure bike. It's the adventure version. It's a bike we probably wish Honda had built, but they've not. The kit is about £2,000 all up for everything. It's something you can fit yourself or get somebody to fit. It takes about a day. It involves no chopping or cutting. It's just a straight bolt on, bolt off. You don't need to buy a brand new 500X. You could buy a second-hand one for £3,500 to £4,000. Add the £2,000 kit. So basically, the bike you're looking at here could cost less than £6,000, which, in terms of budget adventure, and it's as good as it gets, really. We're here today with Jenny Morgan, who's ridden one of these across the Trans-American Trail from the east to west coast of America, 5,000 miles with ease. So it just shows this bike's potential. We're keen to find how it gets on against the CCM. It's about 60 kilos heavier, so it's obviously going to lose in the weight battle. Power-wise, it's 47 versus 42. So it should be an interesting contest. Second bike is the CCM GP450 Adventure. It's a bike that we've looked at in the past, episode 1 in fact. It's a bike that's been kicking around in pre-production for a few years, and in the last 9 months it's made production. So far they've had people ride it around South America, also do the Trans-American Trail, and basically get out and about on it to prove that it's more capable or reliable than some people give it credit for. The CCM weighs about 127, so it's a good 60 kilos less than the Honda. In fairness, they're very different bikes. This is enduro based. I mean, the company CCM has got an enduro background, and I think it really shows with the way this bike rides. It almost feels like an enduro bike for the road, but with a 20-litre tank, a comfy seat, wind protection and panniers, it's already proven its capability in going on far-flung adventures.
The great thing about what John's done with the 500X is retained the basic fundamentals of the bike. He's retained the cush drive, he's retained the ABS sensors. Now he's engineered it to be like this, so the kit is a bolt-on, bolt-off system. There are 3 different kits available for the Rally Raid X. Level 1 is a basic suspension kit. Now this is revised tractive rear shock, adjustable for preload, and revised front suspension. The ride height remains the same as does suspension travel. This is just a kit designed to make the bike ride that little bit smoother on the tarmac. Level 2 is the adventure suspension kit. This increases suspension travel front and rear by 2 inches or 50mm. You get an extended side stand and the rear shock is fully adjustable. The kit we have today is the level 3. Now this is a full adventure kit which includes the long travel suspension, a revised front mudguard, plus the wheels that are now spoke with the front taken up from a 17 to a 19. What I want to say about CCM is, even to this day, there's still a lot of people bickering about it, whether it's the right bike, the wrong bike, what could be better about it, what it does well, what it doesn't do so well. But I think the reality with the CCM is you've got to ride it. There's no point debating it on the internet. You've just got to get on the bike and ride it. And I think once you've ridden it, you'll either get it or you won't get it. And those who get it will see exactly what it is. It's a very lightweight, agile bike, which allows you to get the very best out of it.
So we finished our days riding around Salisbury Plains, just about to wrap up for the day. I mean, final conclusions, spending time on the Honda, it makes you realise just what a good job they've done, Rally Raid have done with the bike. They've basically taken a budget commuter and turned it into something that can handle most terrains. Obviously it's still going to weigh almost 200 kilos, so you've got that weight to bear in mind, and it's never going to be an enduro bike, but for a lot of the lanes around Salisbury Plains it's perfectly good enough. And then you also realise that as a road bike, you know, the transition from off-road to road is so good that you could do a long distance trip, do some of it on road, some of it off-road. I mean, I know from experience this engine's really efficient. You can get up to 80 miles per gallon. It's pretty light to pick up. Lots of accessories and bits and bobs for it, and I think the price, you know, one of these brand new is about 5.2 plus £2 grand for a kit. You know, for less than £8 grand, you can have a real bike that's ready to take around the world, and I think that's what the market needed. It's a shame that it's taken a third-party company to do to a bike what Honda should have done first time round. I think it's a missed opportunity for Honda, but what it's allowed Rally Raid to do is make a really good job. And the fact that you can fit it to your existing CB500X, or equally fit the suspension, which is the highlight. The improvement to the suspension really sets the kit apart. It's increased ability to handle bumps and things that is amazing. That you can fit this to your CB500F and S, I think that's really good. I mean, compared to the CCM, obviously it's got an extra 600 kilos, so it's never going to match this on the knobblier, more harsh terrain. That's always going to be easier to live with. It's always going to be floatier and lighter and easier to pick up. The limits with the CCM are the vibrations on the motorway. I mean, riding down today from Warwick to Salisbury, the motorway miles aren't pleasant. It'll sit all day long at 65 comfortably, and you can be comfortable at 65. Push it to 75 and the vibrations through the pegs and the bars starts to give you a sickness feeling. So you've got two bikes, both brilliant bikes. I mean, the fact that the UK is producing bikes that the rest of the world is ignoring, I think it's great. If you're going to do a lot of trails, CCM, if you're going to do a lot of trails but also a lot of long distance, then the 500X with the Rally Raid kit, I mean, you can't go wrong with either, to be honest. Brilliant bikes. Been a good day's riding. Everyone should come down Salisbury Plain because it's the best place in the world, I think, for riding. Would I have one in my garage? I would. I mean, if I could only have one bike, I probably wouldn't, because that's a big ask, isn't it? One bike to do all jobs. But at the same token, it does do all jobs. I mean, this will sit up motorway at 90. It'll go. Now with the changes that Rally Raid have done, it'll go off road. So this bike will do everything. And therefore, if you've got 7 or 8 grand to spend, then yeah, you would have this easily. To be honest, either of these two, I don't know. If it were a choice between one of these two, I'd be hard pushed, to be honest. I don't know which I'd go for. I'd want both. I want both in my garage. Can I have both?
After seeing Nathan on that bike review, I'm even more envious than I was at the start. It really looked like very, very good fun, and I'm definitely going to go and have a play where they were filming. We've been going for over a year now, and we've had more success than we could possibly have imagined. But we are not resting on our laurels, and we want to take Adventure Bike TV to the next level. We want to make it as interesting and entertaining for our audience as we possibly can. And in order to do that, we want to do bigger and better trips, better features, and get even more bikes involved in the show. The whole idea behind this crowdfunding campaign is to get our audience as involved as we possibly can. And to tell you a bit more about how we're going to do that, here's Tom, who produces the show.
Hi, my name's Tom and I'm the producer of Adventure Bike TV. Producer's a pretty lax term. In fact, I'm also the editor, the cameraman. I plan all the episodes. I do the colour correction. So I do quite a lot. Many people think that we're a much bigger operation than we are. In fact, this is it. This is the editing suite for Adventure Bike TV, which is in the spare room of my house. Adventure Bike TV is free to watch and always will be. The very basics of day-to-day running are just about covered by our advertisers. However, we want to take things to the next level. We want to make a better program for you, and to do this we really need your help. We want to give you, the viewers, bigger and better features. We want to make our adventures something that are truly inspirational for you to watch. We want to do more product tests. We want to get the products that you want to see and we want to test them to destruction. We want to interview some of the biggest names in adventure motorcycling and ask them the difficult questions that you want to know the answers to. And we want to include you, the viewers, in our shows more by inviting you to shoots and specifically making features where we can bring as many people together as possible. Reaching our goal of £15,000 will also allow us to use our other presenters more often. We love using Nathan Millward and Tammy Howard on the show, but we can't expect them to do it for free. This will give us the opportunity to pay them what they deserve for being great presenters on the show. If this campaign gets to a high enough level, we also want to give back to the adventure motorcycle market. We want to produce filming kits with a range of cameras that we can loan to people when they go on their trips to give them the best possible chance of making great film. We will even be looking at getting US and Australian correspondents for the show to make sure we're covering the whole worldwide adventure market. But to do this, we really need your help. Of course, we don't expect you to give us money and get nothing in return. We've built some great perks for you to choose from. These range in price from just £1 right up to £5,000, depending on your budget and how much you want to be involved in the show. Some of the perk highlights: you can join us for a live filming of our Christmas show, where we'll have an extra special guest going live under the visor and we'll field your questions. Plus, you'll get the chance to get your hands on loads of goodies. There'll be prizes. It'll just be a great fun atmosphere. Great day out. You can become a team member. There's 4 options: bronze, silver, gold and platinum, depending on how much cool stuff you want. And there's loads of other options as well, including DVDs, film courses, editing courses, and even the chance to be an executive producer on the show. And if there's not a perk there you like, give us a shout. We might be able to put something together for you. Of course, we understand that not everyone has the budget to buy one of our perks. And if you can't, don't worry about it, but please share this campaign and share Adventure Bike TV with as many people as you can. Thank you so much.
Now, it's time for Top Tech. On this month's Top Tech, we have a really simple but great bit of kit. It's a mug. Well, we all need a mug with us on a trip, and too often we compromise, either by taking a bulky plastic or metal mug, and we end up making a cup of tea in our cooking pots. Well, this great little mug gets rid of both issues. This is the X mug from Sea to Summit, and it's a folding mug. Now, there are other folding mugs on the market, but this one's attention to detail is what makes it our top tech. Firstly, it has more capacity than most folding mugs at 480 millilitres. That's basically 2 cups of tea in one. The folding rubber is thick enough that the mug doesn't become too hot to handle, although it does get warm of course, and the thickness means it feels more ridged, so there is less chance of you squeezing it too hard and your drink going all over you. Lastly, it has markers on the inside to use as a measurement. Always handy, and these are moulded into the rubber so they will never come off like print often does. For £12.50, this is a great bit of tech. Time for a break, and when we come back, we're going to get an update from Tom on his Tiger 800 rally build.
We have the largest selection of hard luggage under the one roof in this country. Bollocks.
My name is Graham Hoskins, and I am the host of Adventure Bike TV.
My name's Tom Woodrow and I produce the show.
Adventure Bike TV is an internet-based TV channel dedicated to all forms of adventure motorcycling.
Adventure Bike TV is funded completely through advertising, making it free to watch for the viewers. Advertisers have the opportunity to promote their brands and products to a highly targeted demographic with a high disposable income.
So we'd just like to say a really big thank you to all our supporters, and here's just a few of them.
Adventure Bike TV has a massive range of options for advertisers, whether it's in-show, online or through product placement. Graham?
Our advertisers are already benefiting hugely from working with Adventure Bike TV. And if you're interested in advertising, please go to the contacts page on the website.
You're so cool.
It's just so smooth.
We are the sole UK stockist of the Redverse 10, the original park your bike in the garage 10. We also have a range of tents and other camping equipment from a number of trusted brands. That was
Welcome back. Now, in last month's episode, you saw an update from me on my KTM 690 Enduro R Rally adventure bike build. And let's be honest, quite a lot of people actually do that with 690s, but you get far fewer do it with Triumph Tiger 800s. And Tom's taken his build very seriously.
Hello and welcome to my man cave. This is my garage, and this is where we're going to be doing the majority of the build for the Triumph Tiger 800 XC Rally Adventure. The first thing we're doing today is the navigation side of things. Touratech in Germany have sent us a road book, their IMO, we've got some bracketry for a Garmin GPS, and it will have to be wired into the bike and things like that. So I want to get that done first because that's kind of the most complicated bit. So I'm now just on Touratech's website trying to find cockpit. Trying to find some instructions for the rally kit in English. So this is what we've done so far. We've mounted the IMO, which is the IMO 100R50 Rally from Touratech in Germany. And we've got a electronic road book there as well with backlight. That's all been mounted on Touratech's navigation mount, which is also a screen adjuster. But here is where you adjust the screen. Now actually with this we can't adjust the screen because it comes up so high up here. So what we're actually going to do is just remove that and turn it into a standard bolt, and then there's no chance of that coming loose. Okay, so I finally found English instructions for the IMO installation. Actually had to go to Touratech USA to find those in English, but they're there in PDF form and it looks suitably complicated, so yeah, this will be fun. So let's run you through some of the things that we have done to this bike. First, the cockpit. We have a Touratech navigation system which includes a roadbook and an IMO. These are both controlled using buttons on the handlebars. The supply of electricity can be independently turned off so that when it's not in use it can be shut down easily, but I will have to remember to turn it off so it doesn't run the battery down. We also have the controls for the Scott Oiler E, which is an electronic Scott Oiler, and the switch for the Denali spotlights, which we got from R&G. For protection we went with the Alt-Rider equipment. The engine bars we found offer great protection without being, over the top, and the bash plate is pretty fantastic. We also have a radiator guard from them and a luggage rack at the back which can be fitted with different things when we need it to. So for instance, we're looking at putting a winch on there for some stuff, and obviously some camera gear can go on there when we do bigger trips. Under the hood, so to speak, not much has changed apart from performance air filter and a fuel exhaust, which is much lighter than the standard one. But this bike is still a work in progress. I also wanted this first stage to be something that anyone can do just with a half decent toolkit. My Teng tools have not really been stretched by this build, but as we progress and the bike develops, it will be. At the moment, we've left the suspension the same, as the first bike trip they're going on is a lot of road riding, and then once we get back from that main trip we'll be looking at something, putting some suspension on the bike that is a lot more off-road biased, but for this first trip we just wanted to keep it with its standard suspension. We're also looking into the options for increasing the engine braking on this bike, which it really has very little of, but again it's something we're going to start playing around with at a later date. Finally, the bike was wrapped. This bike is not just a kind of build for us. We also wanted to make a great looking bike that we could take to shows and use to promote Adventure Bike TV. So we had some Adventure Bike TV stickers made up, and I bought a whole load of wraps for 35 quid and got to work. So this is it, the Triumph Tiger 800 XC Adventure Rally Adventure. Probably should get that name straight before we continue promoting it. All done and dusted, and I'm genuinely pleased with it. I think it's a fantastic piece of kit and it stands out in the new colours. I've already met more of my neighbours in the last half hour while this bike's been outside than I have in the entire 11 months I've lived here. It's wicked. I love it. Oh, it's so cool!
So that's now the Triumph Tiger and the KTM 690 builds almost complete, and we're really only waiting for the graphics. And I just cannot wait to see what those bikes look like when they're fully graphicked up. Now it's time for Under the Visor, and this month we've got Cliff and Jenny who run the Adventure Bike Shop. But that's not what we're going to be talking to them about, or about how rubbish they are at adverts. We're going to be talking to them about the adventure that they undertook that inspired them to open the shop.
James Cargo Motorcycle Shipping sponsors Under the Visor.
I'm Jenny Batley,
And I'm Cliff Batley.
and we run the Adventure Bike Shop,
Together.
and we're rubbish at interviews as well.
Rubbish at interviews, Graham.
Yep, well, we spent a year on the road riding from Sudbury out to basically to New Zealand, riding through Europe, the Middle East, the Indian subcontinent, Southeast Asia, New Zealand, a little bit of Australia before having to come home prematurely because my dad was ill.
But we were lucky at the time that you could get through Pakistan, which is not so easy at the moment, but we were very fortunate to go into Syria, and what's going on there now is horrendous. Some of the beautiful places that are probably gone. And my favourite country of all of them was Iran. Despite having to wear the headscarf, the people were just amazing. We couldn't spend money if we wanted to. The hospitality was unbelievable.
I don't know that it's changed in where they're going. South Central North America is very, very popular, as is a quick trip to Morocco and the like. But there are one or two countries that we went through that are not so easy now. Like she said, Pakistan, you can still do it, but you're not going to go all the way up to Karakoram. We're lucky in that when we're doing it, the war was on, we were invading Afghanistan, and the advice was not to go in there, but actually use your common sense, and it was still okay. But I think it's probably more dangerous now. Changed, more people are doing it. It's just getting easier and easier, and the world's getting smaller. You're never disconnected anymore. Finding the internet in 2002 was often quite difficult. Now, it's everywhere. There wasn't a worse part of travelling, really. There were the things you miss about home. But the worst part was when she nearly went off the edge of the Karakoram. That was easily the worst part. That was our bad day of the whole trip.
And that was purely because we were trying to rush and trying to make up time, whereas you just can't do it. You have to take whatever gets thrown at you. And if you're a day late getting somewhere, you're a day late getting somewhere. They'd blocked the road up the Karakoram highway in Pakistan, and locals said there was a jeep track. It was 7 kilometres long, and it was literally off the side of a mountain. There was 6 foot. I don't like heights, and it was all slaty shingle. 27 kilometres later, I was dead. We got to the point.
Dead as in knackered.
Cliff had to ride my bike around the corners, because you know the paths you see on the side of a mountain like this. One of those. On the way down, I couldn't physically get round the corner of my bike without dropping it, so it took forever.
Yeah, basically I was going, because they were so steep that on the inside you just couldn't touch the ground. So, and she was by then absolutely worn out. So I was taking it round the corner and then walking back, getting my bike and taking it down, and she'd get to the next corner, then I'd do that. Because by then I think she'd dropped the bike about 7 times. She was losing her confidence, getting very, very pissed off with herself and the whole thing. We should have turned round when she dropped it the first time, and we were only about 5 kilometres into it, but the guy had said it's only 7 kilometres. Well, you allow for that local thing. I figured it'd probably be double that, maybe 14 or 15 kilometres, but it turned out, like I said, to be about 27, 28 k's. So it was a bad day, but at the end of it, we found a really nice hotel. And when we got up in the morning, because it was dark, but by the time we got to the hotel, we had such a good view.
Stunning.
And I spent the next day repairing her bike. There's too many...
There were too many good days, but probably for Cliff, his best day would have been the day we arrived in Bangkok and we got into our nice hotel that we decided we deserved, and we found a 7-Eleven,
Yeah.
and they had cheese and red wine.
Yeah.
And we had the most
New Zealand
fabulous
cheddar
evening.
and red wine. From the Middle East on, we'd missed cheese and wine, simple things. So that was a highlight, definitely, 7-Eleven. When we got back, we came back prematurely because my dad was ill, so we basically spent 5 months. We left the bikes in Australia and then spent 5 months looking after my dad till he died. And after a couple of weeks, it was obvious we weren't going to get back to us to finish it off, so we got the bike shipped home. And then I got a job, and 5 years later the recession hit, and I found myself out of work, went through a few jobs, and they all disappeared, everybody went bust. So I decided to go to America, have a deal with Al Jesse, start importing the Jesse luggage, because we used Touratech, and when we were travelling we thought the Jesse was just much better. So that's where it started.
You can't say that.
Well, it's true.
You stock Touratech, so you...
Yeah, we do the both. I mean, at the end of the day, with something like that, you see the advantage of something and the disadvantage of others. I mean, the Jesses would have been much harder to repair after you'd had your off on the Karakoram, and after you'd played Skittles in Bangkok, when she took out 3 scooters and folded up the pannier, bent the forks and so on. The Touratech box is made like a Coke can, so it's easy to straighten out with a hammer and a piece of wood. The Jesses are too tough to easily straighten back out. You can do it, but it's harder than the Touratech, but it wouldn't bend so much in the first place. So
It grew, the whole thing grew from there.
yeah.
We started off at home doing everything online and trade shows. Decided we needed a unit because we had too much stock for the house and the garage.
And the lock-up.
And once we got the unit, we thought, well, why don't we display the stuff so that people can actually come and have a look at it rather than just do online? And it's just got bigger and bigger. We've basically lived on my wages, and any spare cash just gone into more stock. And now that's enough now.
Yeah, now it's time to pay ourselves. It's time for a wage. 5.5 years of it. It's definitely time for a wage.
James Cargo Motorcycle Shipping sponsors Under the Visor.
That's a great story, and it's no surprise that the guys ended up setting up a shop to service the adventure marketplace. Now it's time for a break, and when we come back, it's going to be me taking the ultimate budget adventure bike on its first proper trip.
Adventure Bike Shop. We also do a wide range of soft luggage, if that's more your thing.
We really care about the adventure motorcycle market and try to make it as many shows as possible to see our customers. So if you can't come to the shop, come see us at a show.
Welcome back. Now, over the last 7 or 8 months, I've been building the ultimate budget adventure bike for under £1,000, which had to include the bike and all the kit. Finally, after all the work building and sorting out all my kit, it was time to take it on a proper overnight adventure. When I first got this bike, there was all manner of good reasons why I chose it. It was a Honda, so I wanted the reliability. It was small and light and I could play around with it. But I've got to admit there was an element of liking it because it was just a bit different. It wasn't something I think which many people would have chosen, so it was a bit unusual. But over the last few months, I've got to admit, it's kind of grown on me. And is it something that you could take genuinely on a kind of world-crossing adventure? And yes, I really do believe it is. I think we've proven it. It's gone around our track. It's gone out and done a mini adventure. It's taken me on tracks, on roads. It's never going to eat up hundreds and hundreds of miles every day, unless you rode for 15 hours, of course. But to my mind, it's a bit bigger and a bit faster and a little bit more comfortable than going around the world on a scooter. It's not going to be like going around the world on a GS, but then that's not the point. And when we set this challenge, it was for the budget bike and kit for £1,000. And I've done the whole lot for around 600. So I think that's exceptionally good value. In a rather embarrassing turn of events, we find ourselves freewheeling as opposed to running properly.
What's happened?
I just stopped, and there's a strong smell of petrol. I have an inkling of what it might be. We'll take a little look. Yeah. I had spotted in my ministrations to the bike earlier that there was a petrol pipe that wasn't clipped onto one of its mounts. I think that's what's happened. Yeah, it's just as simple as the petrol pipes come off. And yeah, back on. Hopefully that'll start now. It was an easy fix. One of the problems with old bikes, so I've just come in. There's just this petrol pipe down here. Just come off. That's why I can smell petrol. There's no clip on it. No biggie. No biggie. But if you were taking one of these bikes on a genuine long adventure, yeah, there'd be 1,001 things like that happening, I'm sure. But the advantage is they're easy to fix. After what has been an unexpectedly traumatic day with a few issues that I wasn't expecting to have, I was desperate to do some wild camping. So I can't really say where I am because obviously wild camping is not allowed in England, or at least certainly in most of England. So I've hidden the bike back in the woods down there. I'm just trying to find a suitable spot for my super budget kit, because of course it's not putting up a tent, it's putting up my hammock. To be honest, I didn't expect to find the perfect couple of trees quite so quickly, but actually it's pretty much the first pair of trees I come to. So not too far apart, not too close together, and I've even got a nice convenient log to sit on while I make my brew later. Before it gets dark, I just wanted to very quickly run you through my budget kit I've got with me. I talked about this probably 3 or 4 months ago on Adventure Bike TV, and it really surprised me just how little I had to spend. So, got a second-hand bivvy bag, got fuel for my homemade stove, little second-hand billy can there, and that is the, if you remember, we made a stove out of a Coke can. This is it. And of course, got my hammock and my cover. Next job is to see how quickly I can get these up. I'm sure it wasn't this complicated last time. What Tom doesn't realise is that there is an actual velociraptor loose in these woods, and I can hear it. But I think he's tame. I think. That's a reaction to the fact that Tom's just told me, a little bombshell, that he's booked himself. When I thought he was walking off to go and set up his posh tent, he was walking off to get a signal to go and ring a B&B, to go and stay in a B&B, the cheeky bugger. So he's leaving me all alone in the scary woods with the velociraptor. Right, thanks, Tom.
Yep.
Cheers, buddy.
Enjoy.
Yeah, here he goes.
My back's bad, I'm not going to sleep in it. Well, have a good evening.
Yeah, cheers, thanks for that. It's all a bit different having to film this without Tom. I'm surprised he left me his camera actually. See how well my little stove's going to work after a while of not being used. So in reality my stand's a pile of shit. It's amazing how well that works. Yeah, my stand worked as well. Right. It really is time for bed now, and I'm going to keep my shoes on just in case. Not in case I have to get up in the middle of the night and run away quickly, but because I shouldn't have to get away from this place quickly. I think it's remote enough that no one's going to come and disturb me, but actually just keep my feet warm. I was tempted to go without the bivvy bag, but I know what will happen. I wake up in the morning covered in dew and my sleeping bag will be all damp and horrible, so we're not going to do that. Oh, I'd forgotten how comfy this is. Oh, it's so amazing. Oh, it's even rocking me to sleep. There's only one thing wrong with this plan, and it's Tom's fault because he's not here. I've now got to get out of bed and turn the camera off. Thomas! Bloody hell! It's, I think it's about 5 o'clock in the morning, something like that. You can see the light is just starting to come up through the trees over there. And in honesty, it was a pretty good night's sleep actually. I was very, very pleasantly surprised. As I've said before, this combination of the hammock and the bivvy bag and the sleeping bag is actually unbelievably comfortable, and my back doesn't suffer nearly as much as when I'm lying in a tent. And the forest noises were really okay, but I just woke up. It's such a beautiful morning, it's crisp, and I'm just going to get a brew going and wait for Tom to come back. Well, it was actually, apart from waking up with the the very strange noises in the middle of the night, remarkably good night's sleep. It never ceases to amaze me how good a night's sleep you have in those hammocks. I mean, genuinely, it's quite astonishing. But it's about 8 o'clock and I'm all packed up and ready to go because I was up so ridiculously early with the chorus and I'm waiting for Tom. And in fact, speak of the devil, there he is. I bet he had a lovely night's sleep in his hotel, wherever it was.
Morning.
Hello mate, did you have a good night's sleep in your B&B or your hotel or wherever it was? You were all super comfy?
I did, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's alright for bloody sun, isn't it?
How was your night?
Actually, remarkably good. Remarkably good. Apart from, it was a bit noisy at times, but I slept really well. It was dry and warm and no dew on me in the morning.
Did you film yourself packing up and everything and doing your morning coffee and stuff?
No, I was so focused on getting myself ready and getting back here to wait for you, and without the instruction of the producer, I forgot to film myself.
But
Oops.
we did. I mean, because the whole reason of me coming back now was so that I could film you packing up the tent and talking about the gear and how it was and stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, Tom.
Okay.
I think Tom's a bit annoyed with me. This is a stompy Tom. You don't see it very often.
You're not funny, you're not big, you're not clever.
No, because I forgot to film myself packing up.
So we either now have to fake it, or we have to. We can't fake it. We're gonna have to just. You're gonna have to talk about it. I could run the video of you setting it up in reverse. And then
Yeah, we could. We could. There we go. Just before I come to my final conclusion about this bike, we have had quite a few people question whether this type of bike could go around the world as a budget adventure bike. And the answer is, well, yes, of course you could. I mean, you can go around the world on a scooter, for goodness sake. But just to prove what you can do, Tom, the producer, a few years ago, went all the way down through West Africa to the Gambia on one just like this. Sadly, the bike's got to go. If you're interested, let us know. He handed me an envelope and said, "It's a surprise." Surprise. Your challenge is to produce the ultimate budget adventure bike, and your budget is just £1,000. Cool, right, lad? That was £34 for the crouch helmet. I paid about 30 quid for a waterproof bivy bag. But this is not the end of the Ultimate Budget Adventure Bike Challenge, because we've had some viewers who've taken part with great enthusiasm. So very, very soon we're going to be catching up with them and their bike builds. So that was the show, and as always, I hope you enjoyed it. Keep an eye out later in the month, because there's going to be more top 10s, there's going to be more Finger of Fail, and definitely keep an eye out for more details on our crowdfunding campaign. We'll see you next month.
Really want to have a pee? I'm not really. I don't. Walk and talk, yeah? Hello and welcome to Salisbury Plain. That's without an S. I'm only kidding. Both small capacity adventure bikes, kind of different things, but also equally. Fuck off. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Okay, now.
This is actually quite nice, actually. Yeah.
You enjoying yourself?
I'm enjoying it in my pool.
Such an amateur. You're being distracted. Okay, when you're ready. And action.
So I'm waiting for that thumbs up. Not the big dog. Dino. Dinos, come here. Come here. Got your bath out. Look, come here. Come and get the good boy. Have a little drink. Oh, have it. Come on. Good boy.
Hey, did it come out alright though? Sorry about that. Well, you did stand close to a puddle, didn't you? I mean, I didn't. Sorry. You're alright.